So I have the joy of being able to talk a little bit today about the mind and the emotions and the energetic body. Yes. Kala. All right. What is the mind? Who can tell me what the mind is? What is mind? Anyone? Come on, don't be shy at this point of the day. Software of collective experience. I like that. It's good. Do you trademark that? That's kind of. What else? Come on, don't be shy. Mind, what is it? Thoughts, right? River of thoughts. Always changing flow of thoughts. Right? Where is mind? It's everywhere. And what do we mean by that? What do we mean it's everywhere? Right. Right. So it's not localized to just our brain. Right? It's everywhere. When we're talking about this quantum mechanical structure of the body and the mind, we find that the body is really just a pulsating mind in a way. And that's why there's such an incredible correlation between these different bodies, right? The mind, the emotions, the spirit, the physical body. You know, when people come into the clinic and they say, I'm really sick, I have this advanced arthritis, or I have this or that, I have no idea how it happened. I'm always kind of like, really? You don't have any idea how it happened? And that may be true, because they're not actually reflecting back upon their life and upon their mental patterns and their emotions to figure out that there's a direct correlation, right? We know that if people are miserable every single day, that eventually that's going to wind up in the tissues of the body, right? That's how the body is going to build itself. So, I've spoken a lot in my experience on the road about being in a debilitated state of physical illness, right? My joints began to degenerate. I was growing bone spurs throughout these major joints of my body. That's only part of the story, though. It has to only be part of the story. For me, I also struggled for many, many years in the domains of mental illness and not being able to even control my thoughts, kind of more on the obsessive compulsive side of things, having these fears and these insecurities in myself and having this, trying to attain this perfectionism, that I pretty much relegated on myself. It wasn't even from parents or family or friends. It was just myself, trying to live up to my own ideals. And I literally burned myself out. This is an active pitta mind, right? Being too active. I literally burned myself out. And I started to burn out the subtle fluids and the gross fluids in my body. So this is where this incredible dryness and then the vata disturbance comes within my joints, and then all of the surgeries and all of these things to come. So for me, you've heard the story about my friend Jim. Did you know Jim's here today? He's the guy coughing over on the side there in the red shirt. So it's always an honor for myself and the doctors to have Jim with us. He's such an incredible inspiration in our lives. And you've heard about this pivotal moment when I'm home at my family's house in northern Maine, recovering from this dual ankle surgery. I get the call, Dan, I need to come see you from Florida. Jim arrives, tells me he has 2 months to live. And he's done. He's not doing radiation. He's not doing chemo. He actually had cancer before in his brain 20 years prior and had gone through traditional treatment. And he knew that his body wasn't strong enough this time around. And it's always easier to care for someone outside of yourself, right? Like for him to show up on my doorstep, it instigated this desire in myself to learn more about health and healing. It's always easier. It's like, I want to help my friend, my dear friend, heal and get better. And you know what? I'm pretty pathetic too right now, so I want to learn a little something that may help myself. And I talked about this moment, where we become conscious participants in the healing process. It's not just about what prescription the doctor gives us or what the surgery is. It literally becomes embodying this wisdom and seeking out the knowledge that's going to help us. When I went home for that same surgery, a dear friend gave me 4 cassette tapes. She said, Dan, I really want you to listen to this. There may be something in it for you. And I sat there and I listened to Deepak talk about Ayurveda for the first time, to talk about this incredible relationship between our thoughts, our emotions, our physical health. You know, I sat there, I was like voraciously taking notes. I still have filled notebooks, you know, from taking these notes. And of course my dad, the big beard and the mustache, you know, it was really funny because he comes in and I'm immobile on the couch for about 10 weeks. And he comes in and, you know, Deepak's ringing through our stereo in the living room talking about, you know, the unified field of consciousness and vibration, and my dad just kind of looks over at me, you know, and shakes his head and then takes a nap in the recliner, you know. It wasn't so potent or pertinent for him. But for me, it absolutely was. So that was really the beginning of this whole journey. You know, and it's a journey. We talk about Dharma. I very well could have not gotten sick and stayed on Wall Street and probably been miserable, you know, and been wearing golden handcuffs, so to speak, in ways